Hello there, I'm Anita Wu and you're watching Nightline, news making the headlines. Auditor General's report 2018, more than 57 million ringgit in subsidies paid out to dead farmers. And Federal Court rejects Datuk Seri Anifa's appeal, paving way for Kimanis parliamentary by-election. We open with our headlining story. The Auditor General's report 2018 revealed that 57.92 million ringgit in subsidies and incentives were paid out to dead farmers between 2016 and 2018. This was discovered after the analysis of registration of the names of the farmers against their identity card details with the National Registration Department, NRD. The AJ report said a total of 10,271 farmers who had died still received subsidies and incentives during the replanting season. It said further analysis discovered that the dead farmers continued to receive their subsidies and incentives, although records showed they died between 1967 and 2019. Based on feedback from the Agriculture and Agro-Based Industries Ministry, it was confirmed that 11,712 farmers had passed away, while details of another 5,099 farmers were not found with the NRD. The audit also discovered the identity card numbers of between 7,894 and 10,034 subsidy recipients were incomplete and raised doubts involving subsidies totaling 108.08 million ringgit. Also revealed was that between 2016 and 2018, claims by companies for paddy fertilizer schemes had exceeded their contract value by 178.23 million ringgit. The audit also found that the ministry had overpaid a total of 17.58 million ringgit for claims under the Paddy Production Incentive and Pesticide Scheme in 2016. The audit also found that paddy production for 2016 to 2018 dropped between 1.4% and 8.5%. The paddy production for 2016 to 2018 was 7.95 metric tonnes compared to the 8.43 metric tonnes targeted. The 2018 Auditor General report also revealed that the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry still owes 107 million ringgit for advertising and digital campaigns between 2016 and last year. It said a total of 32 procurements for advertising campaigns totaling 136.67 million ringgit, involving 16 suppliers for the period 2016 to 2018 were approved, although there was no allocation. The audit report also stated that the advertising and digital promotion campaigns were targeted for markets in the Asian region, including Japan, Taiwan, Korea and China. Of the 404 promotion programs planned for 2016 to 2018, only 196 programs were carried out, while 208 programs were not implemented. The audit also discovered that 231 unplanned promotion programs were, however, held. Tourist arrivals between 2016 and last year had dropped between 570,000 and 5.85 million from the targeted arrivals. Foreign tourist spending, the report stated, also saw a reduction by as much as 765 million ringgit and up to 35.83 billion ringgit from the projected target between 2016 and 2018. The target for foreign tourist spending in 2016 was 130 billion ringgit, 118 billion ringgit for 2017 and 84.9 billion ringgit for 2018. The National Audit Department has audited the financial statements of 113 federal agencies for the 2018 financial year as of August 30th this year. Auditor General Datuk Nik Azman Nik Abdul Majid said 99 financial statements were given audit certificates without reprimand, 6 were given without reprimand with an emphasis on matter, and 8 were given certificates with reprimand. According to Datuk Nik Azman, 35 financial statements have not been finalised, while 2 federal agencies have yet to submit their financial statements. In a media statement, he said the audit was in accordance with established guidelines, including preparation of an audit planning memorandum, risk assessment and audit evidence, communication with management and governance, sampling and reporting. 12 performance audits were carried out at the federal government level and 21 at the state level, covering, among others, program management, activities, construction, upgrading, maintenance and revenue management. To enable corrective action to be taken, the National Audit Department tabled 57 recommendations on the activities of federal ministries, departments and statutory bodies, 43 recommendations on management of federal government companies, and 132 recommendations on management of activities by ministries, departments, agencies and management of state government companies to address reported weaknesses. 3 volumes of the AG's federal-level reports will be posted on the department's website after they have been tabled in the Dewan Rakyat, and the public may access them at the department's website from 10 a.m. today. The poor should not rely on financial handouts from the government, and instead they should strive to increase their income to overcome poverty. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said they should be receptive of strategies and formulas in the Shared Prosperity Vision 2020 that will help close the wealth income gap.
Sebenarnya mereka yang miskin boleh diperkayakan, ditambahkan pendapatan mereka dengan cara mereka berusaha. Mereka mempunyai masa yang cukup untuk berusaha. Kalau daripada satu punca mereka tidak dapat mengatasi masalah mereka, kita perlu tentukan ada punca lain yang memberi pendapatan kepada mereka.
He was speaking to civil servants at the monthly Prime Minister's Department Assembly on Monday. He emphasised the need to close the wealth income gap, especially between the races, as it could trigger chaos and dissatisfaction amongst the people. The Prime Minister said poverty was a main stumbling block in Malaysia and it could trigger a revolution with the people taking over the country. Tun Dr. Mahathir also asked civil servants to explain to the target groups on how to overcome poverty.
Negara Korea ini adalah di belakang.
A new system for electronic temporary working permits will take effect in January 2020. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said this is to help employers who are applying for temporary employment visitors passes.
PLKS ini majikan akan berurusan terus dengan pihak JIM dan mempercepatkan urusan pelanjutan PLKS tanpa perlu melalui perantara atau vendor yang memberikan perkhidmatan sedia ada.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this to reporters after the launch of the EPLKS at JIM at the Immigration Day 2019 celebration in Putrajaya on Monday. He said the new system will ease the application process for employers who previously had to be present at the immigration counter. Employers who are applying for the temporary work permits will only have to make payment for levy, processing fee and the visa as stipulated in the applications. On another matter, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said Bukit Aman's special branch is investigating the alleged meeting of former Communist Party of Malaya (CPM) members, which took place in Kajang on Sunday. He said authorities will probe if the gathering was an attempt to revive the old party's ideology in the country.
Pihak polis akan siasatlah apa tujuan sebenarnya, adakah ada kaitan hanya nak merayakan perjanjian Hatnyai ataupun inilah usaha untuk menghidupkan semula semangat komunisme yang lampau atau apa tujuannya. Jadi kita tak boleh pandang ringan hal-hal sebegini kerana negara kita sudah aman, tak ada apa-apa. Jadi apa perlu hal sebegitu? Ini seperingkat awal lah. Jadi yang penting siasat dulu. Kita dah dapat laporan, nanti kita tahu adakah dia telah melakukan apa-apa kesalahan dari segi undang-undang ataupun ini hanya perhimpunan biasa saja.
Local media on Sunday reported that almost 300 people, including former CPM members, had attended the meeting. The meeting was said to be held in conjunction with the 30th anniversary of the Hatnyai Peace Accord, which was signed on December 2nd, 1989 by the Malaysian government and the party. The gathering was a culmination of the controversial return of CPM leader Chin Peng's ashes to Malaysia recently. The federal court on Monday upheld the decision of the election court that declared the Kimanis parliamentary constituency election null and void. The seat in Sabah was won by former Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Anifah Aman. A five-member bench led by Chief Justice Tan Sri Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat said there was no error by the election judge in the finding of facts. In the unanimous ruling, she said that there were numerous discrepancies in the conduct and widespread non-compliance of the election laws which had affected the outcome of the polls. Datuk Seri Anifah, a former UMNO member, won the seat by a slender margin of 156 votes. He obtained 11,942 votes, while Datuk Karim Bujang, who represented Warisan, garnered 11,786 votes. The bench also ordered Datuk Seri Anifah to pay the respondent, Datuk Karim, 70,000 ringgit in costs. A defence white paper to chart Malaysia's defence plans was tabled in Dewan Rakyat on Monday. Speaker Tan Sri Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof said that lawmakers from both political sides would be given time to debate on the white paper. Defence Minister Muhammad Sabu in his presentation said the white paper would be inclusive to ensure a secure, sovereign, prosperous nation.
Bahawa Dewan ini mendukung aspirasi kerajaan untuk menyemai tadbir urus yang baik melalui prinsip keterbukaan, ketulusan, inklusif dan progresif setelah menonjolkan profesionalisme dan accountability kerajaan melalui Kertas Putih Pertahanan atau KPP.
He said it was imperative that the national defence policy was reviewed so the country's defence capacity and capabilities were in line with the ever-challenging and uncertain global security environment. The White Paper, which would outline strategic directions for the national defence between the years 2021 and 2030, among others, aims to address the transboundary, non-traditional security threats. It would also focus on optimising computers, cyberspace technology and state-of-the-art systems. All project contractors and consultants for the multi-billion ringgit Sabah-Pan Borneo Highway project have been reappointed under the government's new project delivery partner PDP model. Works Minister Barubian said the contractors and consultants will continue work on the 15 package contracts.
Sudah diberikan kontrak tempoh hari dan the best thing is for them to continue with the contract. Yeah, I think that's the best thing. Kerana PDP itu sudah ditamatkan, kita fahamkan, sudah ditamatkan dan secara logiknya dan the best option for us iaitu untuk teruskan dengan kontrak yang sama ya. Dan bagi kita hanya satu yang ditamatkan, tapi itu ditamatkan oleh PDP yang lama.
He was met after presenting acceptance letters to the 11 contractors and 12 consultants at the Works Ministry on Monday. Baru said the move is to ensure the project's continuity. He said the move was the best option to ensure the project's continuity and admitted that there were some slight delays, but he has advised them to be more responsible. The implementation of the 15 work packages will be continued under the 11th Malaysian Plan. It involves a total cost of 10.12 billion ringgit, while the remaining 20 packages will be executed under the 12th Malaysian Plan, subject to the government's financial abilities. The floods in Kelantan and Terengganu have worsened on Monday. Kelantan recorded 10,180 evacuees, while Terengganu saw 4,927 people taking shelter at relief centres as of 11 p.m. The floodings had also claimed 2 victims, with 1 person still missing. In Kelantan, the flood claimed its first victim when the body of a 7-year-old boy was found in a flooded paddy field in Felkra Teratak Batu in Pasir Putih. Police said Muhammad Ilham Hasmadi had reportedly followed his uncle to an irrigation canal at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday to fish, but slipped and fell into the swollen canal. His body was found on Monday morning, 400 metres from where he fell. In Kampung Jubaka, Tumpat, Kelantan, a man had also slipped and fallen into flooded waters while fishing in a flooded paddy field this morning. The body of Pong Aryang, 49, was found at 11:30 a.m. on Monday by villagers. Meanwhile, in Lipis, Pahang, a 6-year-old girl is feared drowned after she fell into the Lipis River near Kampong Penjom. She and 2 other friends were attempting to wash their hands at the bank of the river when they fell in. A rubber tapper launched his boat to rescue them after hearing their screams, but was only able to rescue her 2 friends. Police are still conducting search and rescue operations to find the victim. Petronas's floating liquefied natural gas 2, PFLNG 2, is expected to start commercial operations in November 2020. The vessel, designed to extract gas from deep water gas reservoirs in depths up to 1,500 meters, is scheduled for completion and sail from Malaysian waters in February 2020.
Yes, as far as design is concerned and construction is concerned, I think for future LNG projects, we know the tricks. We think if we do embark on any new floating LNG in the future, it will be more competitive than what we have today.
PFLNG 2 will be moored over the Rotan gas field at a water depth of 1,300 meters, located 140 kilometers offshore from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. A self-contained facility, natural gas can be extracted and refined on the platform itself without the need to send it onshore through pipes. It holds the capacity to produce 1.5 million tons of LNG per annum. Initially, production will be ramped up slowly before it reaches maximum efficiency. To date, Petronas has safely delivered more than 10,000 LNG cargoes from its global portfolio of facilities in Malaysia, Australia, Egypt and soon Canada. Next on Nightline, Datuk Sri Zahid spent more than 1.3 million ringgit between 2014 and 2016. The details when we return. Stay with us. Still on Nightline. The Kuala Lumpur High Court heard on Monday that Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi spent about 1.3 million ringgit using 4 credit cards between 2014 and 2016. AmBank Senior Vice President Yeo Eng Leong testified that the former Deputy Prime Minister made the payments for purchases, including shopping at luxury fashion outlets. Yeo was testifying on the 5th day of Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid's trial, who is accused of 47 charges of misappropriating millions of ringgit belonging to Yayasan Akal Budi. All 4 cards have a combined credit limit of 250,000 ringgit. He said at least one of the cards were used actively for retail transactions, both in Malaysia and overseas. The cards were used in Australia, Vietnam, the United States, Hong Kong, Ukraine, Indonesia and Britain. The credit card owned by his wife, Datin Sri Hamidah Khamis, was used in several retail transactions in Hong Kong, Malaysia and Australia, amounting to 130,359 ringgit 83 sen. Also 215,542 ringgit and 69 sen for purchases in New York, as billed in a credit card statement dated June 28, 2014. This includes 130,313 ringgit 20 sen spent at Stefano Ricci and 17,252 ringgit and 34 sen at Burberry. Yeo said payments were made by local cheque. The hearing before Judge Colin Lawrence Sakera continues on Tuesday. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Muhammadin Ketapi on Monday ordered a probe into the Malaysia Tattoo Expo 2019 after pictures depicting models in a state of near undress in the event made its rounds on social media. The ministry also stressed that while a permit was issued for the event to proceed, there was no green light given for any form of nudity at the event. He said that more information will be revealed by the ministry once the police have concluded its investigations. Over in Selangor, the Shah Alam High Court was told that 3 out of 4 samples of burnt materials submitted to the Selangor Fire and Rescue Department's Fire Investigation Laboratory on June 17th showed residue of petrol-based flammable liquid. The prosecution's 14th witness in the murder trial of former Cradle Fund Sendirian Berhad Chief Executive Officer Nazrin Hassan, 38-year-old chemistry officer Aznur Shida Samsudin said she heated 4 nylon bags containing the burnt samples in an oven at 90 degrees Celsius for 50 15 minutes for the vaporization process of the residue to take place. The samples were retrieved from the charred room in which Nazrin's remains were discovered. USNO was giving evidence against Nazrin's wife, Samira Muzaffar, 44, two minors aged 17 and 14, and Indonesian Ika Wahyu Lestari, who is still at large, who were charged with murdering him. Coming up after this break, 3 Thai districts declared flood disaster zones. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We move on to the foreign front. 3 districts in Narathiwat, Thailand have been declared as flood disaster zones as heavy rain and flash flooding continues to pummel the southern provinces. According to its governor, Ikarat Lisen, 11 districts were affected by the flooding, forcing the closure of schools, with the worst hit area being Sukirin, Sungai Padi and Sungai Golok districts. Sungai Golok on Monday was reported to have breached its danger mark and had overflowed to nearby low-lying areas. The number of evacuees from all 11 districts now stand at 30,573 people, with at least 1 death reported. At least 1 person has died in the Philippines and tens of thousands have been evacuated as Typhoon Kamuri moves closer to the main Luzon island. The nation's Weather Bureau said Kamuri has gained strength and is now packing maximum winds of 155 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts of up to 190 kilometers per hour. Heavy rains and winds due to the typhoon are expected to be felt in the capital starting Tuesday morning, prompting class suspensions, evacuations and transport disruptions. The Philippines is currently hosting the 30th Southeast Asian Games that will run through December 11th. Organisers have said contingency plans are in place should the event face disruption. The 20th storm to enter the Philippines this year is following a track similar to Typhoon Ramasun in July 2014, which killed 106 people in the Southeast Asian country and damaged properties worth more than $759 million. Over in India, at least 17 people from 4 families were buried alive as they were sleeping on Monday when heavy rains caused a large wall to collapse on their homes. According to authorities, the dead included 2 children in the village in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, which was being pounded by torrential rain. The 6-meter-high wall crumbled at around 5:30 a.m., some 50 kilometers north of Coimbatore. Building collapses are tragically common in India during wet periods, with rickety and poorly maintained structures buckling under the weight of continuous rain. In July, a collapsing wall killed 30 people in Mumbai. Meanwhile, the Malaysian contingent continued their impressive performance as they bagged 7 gold medals on Monday. The gold were contributed from the wushu, lawn ball, pencak silat, netball and gymnastic events. National wushu athlete Loh Chun Hao gave Malaysia the first gold medal of the day as he emerged winner in the Tai Chi Chuan event after collecting 9.68 points. Silver medal went to John Yabris Inso of the Philippines, while Wong Teng Yu of Brunei took the bronze. National gymnast Farah Ann Abdul Hadi then delivered the second gold after winning the women's all-around individual event. She garnered 48.05 points. 3 gold medals were contributed by the national lawn ball team. Izzat Shamir Zulkifli, Muhammad Fairuz Abdul Jabbar and Muhammad Shamil Shazwan Ramli won the men's triple event, before Nurul Alyani Jamil paired Emma Firiana Saroji to claim the gold medal in the women's pairs event. The third gold medal came from the women's fours event, when Afiqah Diana Budiman, Nur Ain Nabila Tamizi, Shafiqah Haida Afif Abdul Rahman and Siti Zalina Ahmad beat the Philippines 17-6 in the final. Also contributing gold was the national netball team, as they beat arch-rival Singapore 49-42 in the final. The win also allowed Malaysia to defend its gold medal won 2 years ago in Kuala Lumpur. Those wonderful wins wrap up Nightline this time around. But before we leave, let's have a look as veteran surfer Kelly Slater won his heat on Sunday to go through to the 4th round heats of the Vans World Cup of Surfing at Sunset Beach in Oahu. With that, I'm Anita Wu. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Rest on a replay. Kelly Slater here. Finds a good-looking wall. High line for Slater. Strong stance through that section. Finds more open face for another carve. Toying with Sunset Beach. Bring that carve into the channel. And slow pace here. Keeping up. Up for a huge gap. Airdrop to the